Chapter 1. The Rise of Volkswagen. Volkswagen, or VW, was founded in 1937 in Germany and quickly rose to prominence as one of the most iconic car brands globally. From the original Volkswagen Beetle to the luxury offerings from Audi, the company built a reputation for quality engineering and innovation. By the 2000s, Volkswagen had become one of the world's largest automakers, known for producing reliable, fuel-efficient vehicles. One of Volkswagen's most ambitious strategies during this period was its push into the diesel car market. Diesel engines are typically more fuel-efficient than gasoline engines, and they produce lower CO2 emissions. This made diesel vehicles particularly popular in Europe, where environmental regulations were becoming stricter. Volkswagen, with its powerful engineering and market knowledge, sought to dominate this market with their clean diesel line of cars. Volkswagen's marketing campaigns promised environmentally friendly, high-performance diesel vehicles that could deliver impressive mileage. The company's focus on green technology aligned with growing global concerns about climate change and pollution. However, this focus on environmental friendliness would soon unravel to reveal a much darker side of the company. Chapter 2. The Clean Diesel Promise. Volkswagen's clean diesel cars were marketed as environmentally friendly, with low emissions and impressive fuel economy. The company boasted that their diesel engines offered the perfect balance of power and efficiency while reducing pollution. This message was a significant part of the company's strategy to capture a larger share of the global car market, particularly in the United States, where diesel cars were less popular than gasoline vehicles. Volkswagen's clean diesel technology was seen as a breakthrough. The cars passed initial emissions tests, and consumers were drawn to the idea of driving a car that was both environmentally conscious and cost-effective. The company promoted these vehicles heavily, particularly with the slogan "Think Blue," suggesting that Volkswagen was a leader in green technology. However, despite the company's public claims about their vehicles' environmental credentials, there was a significant flaw in the diesel engine's emissions systems. Volkswagen was facing mounting pressure to meet strict emission standards set by regulatory agencies in the US and Europe. The company's engineers had to find a way to reduce the levels of harmful pollutants produced by their cars, such as nitrogen oxides (NOx), which contribute to air pollution and respiratory problems. Chapter 3. The Scandal Unfolds. In September 2015, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) dropped a bombshell. Volkswagen had been caught cheating on emissions tests. The company had installed illegal software in millions of diesel cars that allowed them to pass emissions tests while actually emitting far higher levels of nitrogen oxides during regular driving. The software, known as a defeat device, detected when a car was undergoing emissions testing and altered the engine's performance to meet regulatory standards. However, under normal driving conditions, the cars emitted up to 40 times the legal limit of nitrogen oxides. The revelation came as a result of a study conducted by the International Council on Clean Transportation (ICCT), which was testing the emissions of diesel cars in real-world driving conditions. The study found that Volkswagen's diesel vehicles were far dirtier than the company had led the public to believe. This prompted the EPA and California Air Resources Board (CARB) to investigate the matter, ultimately leading to the discovery of the defeat device. Volkswagen's initial response was to deny any wrongdoing. However, as investigations unfolded, the company was forced to admit that it had intentionally designed the software to cheat emissions tests. This revelation sent shockwaves through the auto industry and the wider world. Volkswagen's actions were seen as a betrayal of its customers and a violation of environmental regulations designed to protect the planet. Chapter 4. The Fallout. The scandal quickly became one of the largest corporate fraud cases in history. In total, around 11 million vehicles worldwide were affected by the emissions cheating software. The cars had been sold in various countries, including the US, Germany, and other parts of Europe. These vehicles were now considered illegal, and Volkswagen was faced with the enormous task of recalling and fixing millions of cars. The financial consequences for Volkswagen were devastating. The company faced billions of dollars in fines, lawsuits, and compensation claims from affected customers. In the US, Volkswagen agreed to a $14.70 billion settlement, which included vehicle buybacks, compensation for affected consumers, and funds for environmental remediation. The company also faced further fines in other countries, including Germany, where it was fined €1 billion for the emissions cheating scandal. The scandal also severely damaged Volkswagen's reputation. The company, once seen as a trusted brand, now faced intense scrutiny from regulators, environmental groups, and the public. Many consumers who had bought Volkswagen's diesel cars felt deceived, and the company lost trust with its customer base. The crisis led to the resignation of CEO Martin Winterkorn, who had been in charge during the time of the scandal. Chapter 5: Legal and Ethical Repercussions. In addition to the financial and reputational fallout, Volkswagen's emissions cheating scandal raised serious legal and ethical questions. The defeat device was a clear violation of environmental laws in several countries, and the company faced lawsuits from consumers, environmental organizations, and government regulators. In the US, several high-ranking Volkswagen executives were indicted for their roles in the scandal. Some were charged with conspiracy, wire fraud, and environmental violations. Volkswagen's actions were seen as an egregious example of corporate misconduct, driven by the desire to meet ever-growing consumer demand for fuel-efficient, environmentally friendly cars. The company had sacrificed ethical business practices and environmental responsibility for short-term gains, and this ultimately led to its downfall. The scandal also had broader implications for the auto industry as a whole. Other automakers, including Audi, a subsidiary of Volkswagen, were forced to review their emissions practices in light of the scandal. The case brought attention to the fact that many automakers were using similar tactics to bypass emissions regulations, leading to greater scrutiny and regulatory reforms. Chapter 6: A Changed Industry. In the aftermath of the scandal, Volkswagen began making changes to regain the public's trust. The company announced plans to shift its focus to electric vehicles and to become a leader in clean energy technology. Volkswagen's CEO, Herbert Diess, outlined a new vision for the company, prioritizing sustainability and a commitment to transparency. The scandal also prompted regulatory changes in the automotive industry. Governments around the world implemented stricter emissions standards and testing protocols, making it harder for companies to cheat the system. The case highlighted the need for greater transparency in the automotive industry and served as a wake-up call for both consumers and regulators. Conclusion: the Volkswagen emissions scandal is a stark reminder of the dangers of corporate greed and deceit. The company's attempt to deceive regulators and consumers came at a tremendous cost, not only financially, but also to its reputation and trust with the public. The consequences of the scandal were far-reaching, affecting millions of people, and sparking global conversations about corporate responsibility, environmental protection, and ethics in business. For Volkswagen, the road to redemption will be long, but the lessons learned from the Dieselgate scandal will undoubtedly shape the future of the automotive industry for years to come. 4.0 Mini.